Well, welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Basin, and joining me yet again, I say again, is Jason Juggling J. Ford. Jay, we start off this show with sad news, obviously the passing of Jessica Lewis, his coach. We're going to be talking about cricket as well, football, a whole host of things, especially the weekend coming up. But first, let's get a message from our sponsor.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber-to-the-home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, we begin this show with sad news. Received a phone call on Sunday evening, actually Monday evening, Jessica's mom informing me that Coach Ken Tom had passed in a scuba diving accident in South Africa while on a business trip. Took me back, knocked me offside for a little while. Had a chance to have some interaction with Jessica, who obviously received the news on Monday as well. It's a bit tough for her, just trying to encourage her. Ken's son, who is also a para-athlete, as well as he has two other sons and a daughter, and a wife. Just trying to encourage Jessica to remember everything that Ken has been telling her and taught her. She wrote a very inspirational message to her coach, just remembering everything that they've been through, and I know it wasn't easy for her to do. But when you lose someone that close to you, it's really, really a touching thing to be able to put pen to paper.
Well, I talk about different things for different people. First things first, folks, if you get a chance, read the whole letter and the tribute she wrote to her coach. That's the first thing I want you to do. Sometimes it's therapeutic. It helps with the grieving process.
Yes.
So, because when you are writing a tribute, you're thinking of all the things. So you're thinking of the good times, you're thinking of the smile, you're thinking of the little quirky jokes that she talks about, his wicked sense of humor.
Yes.
So and in the meantime, you're laughing.
Right.
You're celebrating the life. So it becomes therapeutic for some. But in saying that, when this is a man that basically introduced her
to the track.
So you know how valuable that is. The Pink Hurricane.
Yes.
That's why that's who introduced her. But I'm a firm believer, Earl, and I'm a firm believer that everybody's placed in your life for a reason.
Yes.
You never know why they came. If somebody asked Jessica 15 years ago that this man was going to come and transform her life, she's never in the cards. She would have never thought about it.
Right.
So we never know when the person's going to come, or people, or whatever, and when it's going to leave us. But the time that you spend with them, and she would tell you, she's learned so much. And she could replay back all those memories now for inspiration. And you talked about inspiration because there's going to be times where you go to that track or that special track or that special event that you had these memories with, and you're going down the hallway, you normally see the coach to the side or telling you, whisper something in your ear.
Right.
He's not there physically, but she can replay those things back. You know what he says? Go fast, keep laughing.
Yeah. Well, I said to her, because we were talking yesterday afternoon, and she said that they were planning to go to the track for training, just to be around each other. And I said, don't worry, you're going to hear a voice. You will hear a voice. He might not be right there, but you will hear that voice.
And that's what happens, because when you have somebody that influential, is always, especially with coaches, because you keep repetitive. You keep hearing these phrases. You might call them cliches, but
Right,
phrases
right,
that keep telling you,
right.
do this, do this, do this, do
Right.
this, do this. And eventually, as an athlete, sometimes like, look, will you just shut up?
Yeah. I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. What more you want me to do?
Yeah.
You know. But I guarantee now, she would know, okay, I got to keep doing this. And
Right.
she'd be almost coaching her own self, where it actually might be the spirit of her coach
Right,
saying,
yeah.
hey, let's get in. Jessica, you know what time it is now. Let's do it. So it's going to be, it will be a transition now from her to a new coach. And going forward, because, I think they could even, you've seen it in many sports, you use a passing of somebody of this influential as motivation to go even harder.
Right.
To achieve even more in dedication of.
Yes.
In memory of. You've seen it happen with football teams. I mean, you can name, you saw that it just all over. You just see it all the time. We dedicate this win to
So-and-so.
or what we went through this year. We saw how influential was, I'll take you back a little while, with Hurricane Katrina.
Yes.
In New Orleans, and at the time, they was so-so.
But the inspiration and he rallied around.
And it brought the team up, but also they brought the community up.
Yeah.
So sport is very powerful when we're connecting people. Even though, like I said, people might come and go out of our lives, but it's so powerful while they're here. So once again, Jessica, obviously we're here for the support, but we can't wait for your next achievement because we know coaches watching.
Well, I have a few videos that I want to show. Ken represented Bermuda at the Paralympic Games last year. Video of him coming in the stadium with Jessica and Uche, as well as an interview we done a few years ago at the National Sports Center track.
Bermuda.
Jessica Lewis leads Bermuda. She's an athlete. She also appeared in London 4 years ago, competing in the women's T53 100 metres, 200 and 400 metres. It was actually the London Games that Bermuda sent their first non-equestrian athlete, and that was Jessica.
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Coach Ken, first of all, congratulations and thank you for assisting Jessica in reaching her first gold medal, Parapan Games in Toronto. But taking Jessica from such a young age and seeing what you've achieved thus far, what's your method and strategy behind making sure the athletes reach their potential?
I think it's first is understanding the athlete. The athlete has to want to do it, and once you have an athlete like Jessica who's willing to do all the things that you ask her to do, we have a really good relationship as a coach and athlete, and like we always joke with everybody that we're a team. We're symbiotic. On the days you have to understand what they're doing, what their mindset is, when they don't want to be practicing, and sort of get around all that, and she's willing to do the hard work in it. So with us, it's been an easy journey. It's making those changes because she's willing to do anything I ask her to do.
Now, last night you had a presentation how you actually coach. Some of the tips that you use were very inspirational to the people that were able-bodied, because they came up to you afterwards and said, inspiration. But can you share just some of the small ones what you use as a mind and body to get the person to do what they need to do?
I think the first thing is always, if we think of every child growing up, what's the first thing we always hear? We always hear negatives. When you're a toddler and you reach for something, your parents go, no. So from a very early age, everything is negative. No, I can't do. So I like to try to take my athletes and show them everything that we're going to do. So things like the words, all my athletes will tell you, I don't accept. There's no such thing as the word can't, because we will find a way to do anything we want to do if there's a will. Failure, there's no such thing as failure. All we're learning is another way to do something different on our journey to become successful. So to me, there's no failure. It's just like business. How many people say, oh, he's failed in this venture and he's failed in that venture, but gee, that guy's a multimillionaire. Because all those so-called failures were steps to do his business better to become successful. And it's the same thing with the athletes. So those are the two big ones that way that I like to do. The one I always hate when I tell people, is I hate to hear the word out of an athlete's mouth when they say they're sorry, because they're apologizing. They do not need to apologize. If they've done their best, they're out there working hard 6 days a week, there's nothing to apologize from an athlete when they're trying their best.
Now, take us through that 100 meters. Before the race actually starts, there's a false start or a callback. Take us through from that moment right through the finish.
Well, we had our strategies going into the 100 meters. We set our goals of what we wanted to have done. And the goal was she needed to be ahead of everybody else by the 20-meter mark. And the goal was if she could be in the lead at the 20-meter mark, we knew she'd be successful in that race. So when the false start gun went, my heart just, it dropped. It was, oh God, you just talk about nerves. You talk about, I probably got another 10 white hairs at that point, because all you can think of is my athlete false started. And meanwhile, Jessica's down below. She's confident. She goes, I know it wasn't me, but whoops, in the stands, all I know is that out they come, the gun goes, and that's your first thought is it's your athlete that did it. So when they said no charge, meaning that it's not a false start, and everybody went back to line, it was, okay, now a big sigh of relief. But then now, the problem you're thinking is, because there was that charge or no charge, sometimes the athletes are hesitant because they're now worried, okay, now they're really watching. If I go a bit early, I'm going to get DQ'd. And that didn't happen. She was confident. And one thing, if you looked at the video, the other athletes were looking around, things like that. Jessica stayed focused. She stayed looking down at the track. Her head was down. She looked down the field. She looked at where the marker was for the 20 meters, and that's where she was focused. So when that gun went, she went. And when she got to the 20-meter mark, she knew there was nobody on either side. And then she just eased into her push, and sort of, I think even for her, all that extra emotion just sort of came into that moment knowing, okay, this race is good.
Now you're off to the Worlds, and then it's what we consider the big one, 2016, the Paralympics. But first for the Worlds, I know you're looking at, after the Worlds, hoping to do some longer events. But what is the strategy for the Worlds?
Well, for the Worlds, we knew that all year our goal this season was to be the best 1 and 200 meter sprinter. At the Para-Pan Am Games, there was no 200, so we knew that we could work with the 100. When we go to Worlds, there'll be the 100 and the 200, as well as the 4 and 800, but our specialty will be the 1 and the 200. Once we finish Worlds, then after that we're going to work on our strategies to get better for the 4 and the 800. But for Worlds right now, we want to be on the podium for the 1 and the 200 is our goal.
All right, well, good luck, and we'll talk to you after that, because we know next year is a big year, and hopefully we can get another medal at another major games, as well as the medal at the World Championships. But thank you very much for assisting our little Jessica here in Bermuda.
Thank you for the people, and thank you for their support of Jessica. It's a great ride, but this is only just the beginning.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, season's over. Cricket season.
Yeah, season's finally over.
I blew on Tuesday. No, you blew, and I said thank God. But then you alluded that you wanted to do a wrap-up. So
Yeah.
Opportunity now to wrap up the 2017 season. And obviously, we know there's new ICC rules. We'll get to that. We'll get to Delray Rollins and Sussex. But let's wrap up the 2017 Bermuda Cricket Board season.
Yeah, interesting season. We sort of knew who was going to be the front runners for the league.
No surprises there.
No surprises there. The only surprise that we saw that it wasn't really much of a title race, especially after the first 3 weeks. Realistically,
Yeah.
Bailey's Bay couldn't find a victory. They just couldn't find a victory. So basically, that was the league. It was just will St. David's come back to them. But realistically, only lose 1 game out of the year. That never happened. Bailey's Bay only winning 5 games out of the year. So. But we saw the point system come into play regarding basically there was 4 teams that struggle, and you could probably put a blanket over all 4, and they could have been switched out with ease.
Right.
So that in turn that says, you know what, there is a hierarchy of teams. We talked about it before with Southampton Rangers. And I think they probably would have had a better year if Gennaro Tucker would have started the season.
Yeah.
He was injured basically almost up to cup match. Bailey's Bay just got off to a bad start for whatever reason. I think coaches still don't know who the captain. But in saying that, you could see the level after that.
Right.
It was a big drop.
Yeah.
It was a big drop. I looked at some outstanding players for the season. One, I'm pretty sure, surprised everybody was Malachi Jones, leading the batting for the whole league.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think nobody saw that coming. Then also even opening for most of the season.
Right.
Ending up with 471 runs in 8 innings.
Not bad. Swashbuckling.
Yeah, with 8 innings.
Yeah.
So ended up with an average of like 58 runs per inning. We've always asked our elite athletes in the sports to have a higher standard than everybody. You're the national team player, so these 20s and 30s. No, you need got to turn these into 50s, 60s, and 70s in your local leagues. We want those 30s, 40s, and 50s in the international arena. So we need to see these type of figures in the domestic league
on a regular basis.
To also see Deion Stubble up there once again, just shy of 400. I think in about 10 innings with 3. Actually, he had a couple not-outs, but he had the biggest average, 76 for his average.
Right.
Chris Douglas came back and had like 7 innings, but ended up with almost 400 runs.
Yeah.
3 auto. So it bodes well when you look at our top athletes or our top cricket players who are in the national squad really doing quite well. On the bowling side of it, the top 7 bowlers came from the lower division in wicket taking.
Right.
I'm headed up by Stephen Deal.
Yes.
And I believe with 21, 22 wickets.
He was averaging 3 to 4 wickets a game.
And many other guys below him on 21.
Right.
Even the likes of Darren Anglin from PAC, we hadn't talked about him in many years.
Right.
Crazy James. Crazy James actually had a good all-round season.
Yes.
With the bat and ball, even though in a lower division.
Right.
But then you see the likes of Derek Bregman, still Deion Stubble, still bring up 16, 17 wickets.
Right, yeah.
So you look at the all-rounder side. So I thought it was quite interesting to see the guys we normally see, but also some guys that we don't normally see.
You look at Kevin Tucker and Vernon Eve. They battled for Rangers.
Yeah.
So it makes it that much more interesting that 2 players from the same team are battling for the top spot in the Premier Division for wicket taking.
Yeah.
But you also have those guys like Derek, like Dion, like Alan Douglas, George O'Brien, who are knocking on the door.
Well, you said Alan Douglas. So, Alan, I think for me, Alan and Kamal Levra, even though he was there for a short moment, brought some excitement to the league.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Alan, for the most part, up until probably the last 2 weeks of the season, he led the league in batting. And you was expecting him to hit balls far. It wasn't just going over the boundary. They were going far. So you saw the crowds come out because you know what you was going to get when Dougie came to the wicket. Sure.
I know he would be disappointed in the numbers that he got at Cup Match because that would have been his biggest stage to entertain. It didn't work out his way, but people know when Dougie comes to bat, fireworks is about.
But you know what you say that now? I think it was very similar to Malachi.
Yes.
Of Eastern County.
Yeah.
Because the pressure was on Malachi to perform the bet.
No, he wanted to perform with the bat. He really wanted to. I've got this opportunity. I'm gonna open bat.
And he just had a big knock the weekend prior.
He played the weekend prior, and I think the night before was a sleepless night for him.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to do so well. Now he got 3 chances at it.
Yeah.
And the disappointment for him would be the fact that he couldn't carry through one of those innings.
Yeah, and one of the games against Cleveland, it was a snap catch by DeMar.
Oh yeah. It was either get knocked out or hold on to it. Yeah.
So we go from there to before we go to Eastern County. Any other players that really stood out? Because you saw a lot of games. Any other players that really stood out?
Yeah, if you look at, you mentioned his name, so I'll go a little bit on Gennaro Tucker. He might have not been the batsman or the bowler of taking wickets and scoring runs, but just his presence once he arrived back into the Rangers field made a difference in the team because he's able to lead them and guide them in various ways in setting the field and just his presence around. So when you have a player such as Gennaro doing those things, and we saw it with the exclusion of OJ Pitcher. Gennaro comes in and Rangers rise. OJ goes out, and a bit of St. David starts to dwindle. And when I say that, I mean they only lost the one game in the league, but you could see the numbers started dropping.
Yeah, you see the difference.
Yeah. So
Now that could also be contributed to basically
they had already won the league.
Wrapped up the league, yeah. Also,
but when you have someone that is a leader of the team, in and out, you see a difference.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the circumstances are, in and out, it's a huge difference. You look at the fact that, okay, St. George's came up, they won the first division. There was a battle on the final day to see who will join them. And then you had the playoff with Somerset and Flats. Flats didn't have the day they wanted. But to be in the reckoning for a team like Flats, to be trying to battle for the spot in the Premier Division, they would look at the season and say, hey, we've done pretty well.
Yeah, and absolutely right. I mean, if you look at some of those teams, you say, you know what? I think they're like a player or two away. They're like just a player or two away.
Right.
And I say player or two away, it comes down to consistency. Those type of teams need about 3 or 4 players to be pretty good on the day.
Right.
Where Rangers and St. David's and Bay, they have the quality of players. They just need 1 or 2.
Yeah. If everybody does their job, they just probably need 1 or 2 players to do a little extra, and you're all right.
Yeah. Where these other teams need about 4 or 5 players to just do the job. And then you can see where the chips fall.
Right. You look at a team like Cleveland at the beginning of the season, everything unsettled because there's 3 guys left, Western Stars and went there. So
no coach.
It was total chaos, one would call it, and that's no disrespect to the organization,
No.
but the ultimate thing is that they were so disorganized at the beginning, they couldn't find their feet, and once they did find their feet, they were already relegated.
Yeah.
They were so far behind. They won their last 3 games convincingly, but they were never in a position to save their season.
They needed somebody to come back to then.
Yeah. And Western Stars had enough points, sit off laugh. Somerset had enough points, sit off laugh. But the thing is, the matches are strategically poised, and we saw that the final day of the season, regular season, with Somerset and Rangers not having a team. Works out in Somerset's favor because Cleveland now could win their game, get all 16 points, and still not be able to catch them because I get 5 points. So, it's a reflection on how bad they had of a start, because we talked about Bailey's Bay's start. Cleveland had a bad start, and it just kept going and going and going. You got a good knock from one person here, but the team would let themselves down in other areas. And you're just like you said about Flats. They're probably 2 or 3 players away from being consistent in the league. I'm not too concerned about Eastern County because that takes care of itself.
That's a different monster.
Yeah.
Different monster.
The league, in order to be consistent, you have to have players who are willing to put that time in and stay at the wicket or continue to bowl as tight as they can.
And I think you saw, if you just look, I'm just use Flats or even Cleveland, both of them, they've got some couple of youngsters coming through. And we got to see a good bit of even DeJohn Carey.
Yes.
Especially at the end of the season, having a good knock. He also had a pretty decent season with the ball. I don't think he had the Eastern County that he wanted.
No.
But for the season itself, if you look at his figures, you say, you know what, that's something coming through. Cleveland's got one of the good lot of youth programs that are coming through.
Right.
So that's very interesting to wait to see how that pans out. St. David's got a nice little junior Eastern County team that's coming through. They're very successful this year. Mine had the likes of Marcus Scotland coming back. I'm pretty sure that didn't hurt. No,
if anything, helped them tremendously.
But if you look at that, I think it's just a missing from the age of 16 to about 20. That
there's a gap.
There is a gap, and you see the teams that are struggling. You see the higher tier teams. Now I'm gonna say higher tier teams besides Bailey's Bay. So I'm really basically talking about Southampton Rangers and St. David's. You don't see too many youngsters coming through, and we're gonna have to wonder how long can they survive with these older players without enough of these young players coming through. Now we saw last year we saw the youngster Nairobi Carmichael come through in the Bailey's baseball, which we didn't get to see much of him this year.
Yeah.
But we saw Nairobi Mills.
In and out of the team, in the under-19 setup.
Went on the development tour.
Yeah,
Too. So,
yeah.
so you get to see these new faces. We saw the new faces with the youngster playing for Cleveland in the Connie match. The young wicketkeeper.
Right.
So it always bodes well when you see some youngsters coming through. When you're looking at St. David's, obviously winning the league. I believe they won the 2020 also. So you would think automatically that's a successful season. But, and I say but, because you got a team like Bayless Bay who lost in 2020.
To St. David's.
To St. David's in the finals. Close. A very close match. And then lost the league. But, Eastern County.
I'll quote Rodney Trott. If we win Connie, the Bayless Bay fans ain't worrying about nothing else.
Yeah. And this year of Eastern County, it was Derek Brangman's Eastern County. The introduction of Derek Brangman to Eastern County. Coming in as a Colt, the first match, he breaks a 14-year-old record, Colt record. Eclipsing Jacoby Robinson's 5-wicket haul. When he actually played for St. David's.
Right.
Derek Brangman took six
for
for 40, I
40,
believe,
yeah, 6 for
against
40.
St. David's.
Yes.
To dethrone St. David's. The last match he ends up with 5 for 18. I'm not even telling you the other figures they had because it was crazy what type of figures he had.
And that would have been against Cleveland County?
Cleveland County, that basically destroyed Cleveland County. Ended up with not only 2 men of the matches, which hadn't been done for many years.
Bull of the series.
Man of the series. Top spin of the series.
This cabinet's full, man.
Cabinet's full. Then you go to cup match. Once again, Derek Brangman. Wow, there's not much you can say when it comes to cup match either.
Yeah.
But we got to see the Kamal Leverett. And I believe that last county game, but it started from the cup match.
Cup match.
It started from the cup match because I think going into the season, I don't think anybody would have thought that Kamal was coming back from cup match.
Right.
But a couple of weeks prior, we started hearing the what if it might be. Then I would tell you, I saw him at training. I said, well, Earl, he ain't back for nothing.
Right.
He will get in the team. But somehow, some way, he made his way into the team. I think a couple of good knocks. But he made his way into the team. And it was a team that it wasn't guaranteed either.
Right.
It wasn't guaranteed. I mean, Summerset hasn't made many changes.
They had it out with the 2 players retiring. It kind of opened the door.
It sort of opened the door a bit.
Opened the door.
But it was also clamoring for them to bring forth
A youngster or 2.
their Joshua Gilman and the likes up there. And I knew
Justin Corday.
And I know that was a lot of discussions where people still felt prior to cup match that Joshua Gilbert should have been in that third 11. I think they might have had a change of heart after cup match because you saw the different quality of player that he brings, and not only the quality, but what he brings as an attitude of competition.
Right.
We talked about. It feels like takes us back to the days of Lionel Can. If you're in the bar, you come out of the bar.
Right.
If you're at the food stand, I'll wait. I'll come back in order
Right.
because I don't care if it's 100 runs or 1 ball. I want to see every delivery that he either
Right.
bowls or bats. So I think all in all, we saw a pretty good season. And you know what, Earl? I mean, I shouldn't be talking about it, but how many really controversies or bad discipline we saw throughout the year?
Not many.
This is probably one of the first few years we haven't seen many players go for discipline like we used to see.
But it could have, but they haven't released it. But it doesn't make the headlines.
It doesn't make the headlines, but we've seen many years a lot more.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. The one thing that I know we need to really, really work on is player conduct on the field. No, you don't see a lot of people written up about it, but we need to take control of it because if not, it's going to progressively get worse and worse and worse.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Because we mentioned this in the early part of the season that we heard that the ICC was going to be bringing in a card system.
Oh, yeah.
Very similar to football, a yellow card and a red card.
Yeah, red card.
Well, folks.
It's here.
It's here. Actually, today.
That's right. Today is the day it started.
Today is the day it started. They was going to wait. They was actually going to wait to the beginning of October, but because the test starts today, they decided to start with the test series that started today. So September 28, 2017, there are new amendments to the ICC code.
And three of the things that we need to be focused on, because a lot of the other stuff has to do with the television replay.
Yep.
But the three that we want to emphasize or talk about is obviously the yellow and red card,
Yeah.
the run out, and the bat size.
So let's go with the yellow and red card. So what umpires have been asking for is a tool to help them manage what you said, the attitudes,
The bad behavior.
bad behavior.
Yeah.
They needed a tool because what would happen is prior to this, what would happen is basically it would take place after the game. The player get written up and it will go through the cycle of a disciplinary committee or whatever the
Right,
case may be.
right.
But it's all after the fact. I knew at one point in time, and I didn't know if it was in the rules, but I know that they can basically send you off, but it was something that really bad had to happen.
But yeah.
You know,
But they had to get the captain permission
yeah,
and
it
all
was
that.
just a lot of all of this now.
Red tape. Now it's red card.
Now it's red card.
Which actually will stamp out a lot of stuff.
Well, I only say this, Earl. It will only stamp out if the umpires use it.
Well, and that's going to be the key. I'm pretty sure that
they've
the
got to use
umpires
it.
will be getting together to show some
Have to-
consistency.
and when I say use it, they need to use it. If it happens day one, you start from day
Yeah.
one.
No chances. The chances are given in the
the
brief
board.
talk when the toss is
board.
taken. We're not going to tolerate anything. So you guys want to behave in this manner?
And I think, to be honest with you, I think now as fans, we need to hold not only players accountable, but also the umpires. We need to put pressure on them and say, hey, well, we know what it should. Come on now. So and that's going to be. Let's be honest with you. For the first year, I think it's going to have a few issues.
Well,
When I say issues, it's going to be some kickback.
Let
but
me-
overall,
right.
I think we're in the right direction.
Right. Let me just say, it's only going to be kickback or issues to the people that don't understand the rules fully.
Oh, yes, exactly.
And they're the ones who's going to make the most noise and in the end look like complete
Well, we know what.
okay. But if you want to know all the rules, just log on to the ICC, go to rules, and find
it's all
out
spelled out, yeah.
what constitutes a yellow card discipline and what constitutes a red card discipline.
They've spelled it out.
Yes. So the umpires would know it. And if I'm an umpire, it's not my job to explain why I'm giving you the card. My job is just to issue the card.
And if anything, I can issue the card and say based on rule da da da.
Thank you. And if you don't know it,
Go look it up.
yeah. And if the person over in the corner don't know it, that's too bad.
Tell them to look it up.
Well, I'd actually tell you go over there and explain it to them.
They even have an app for it too.
Yeah.
So right on your phone at the field, you can.
So words like cheating and controversy and all that goes out the door right away, because if I say could whatever 16.4, check it later.
Yeah.
So everyone understand the rules. People on the sideline know the rules before you criticize.
And that's why we're telling you September 28th,
Yeah.
2017. So it come 2018. Oh, I didn't know about it. I didn't hear about it.
Too bad.
Because it's implemented September 28th, 2017.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Now, to that next thing.
that's us.
Back in the day, we used to call them blades.
Yes.
Had a nice blade. And if you wanted a heavier bet, they used to have these two little holes on top of the shoulders of the bet. We used to pour linseed oil
Make it heavier.
to make it heavier. But now with all the new technology of the press wood and this wood and that wood,
Curvature.
the curvature, instead of a blade, it ended up becoming a club.
Yeah.
I had a chance to went to a bat factory a few years ago down the south part of England.
Right. Yes.
So you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And even though I didn't realize at the time, I had been out of the game for a while, obviously, not realizing even though a batsman might have a sticker saying this bat is sponsored by X, Y, Z,
Yeah.
it's actually made by another company. So in saying that, I'm just going to throw a name out there, Chris Gale.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was one of those practice bats where they use to, punch the ball up in the air.
Yeah.
The width of this club and the weight of this. Years ago, I picked up a bat from Lloyd James.
Mm-hmm.
What? Who? How can you manage? But likes of Tenduka.
Mm-hmm. Heavy bat.
Heavy, and a club. So now the ICC says, you know what? Let's bring it back. I think you guys, the batting manufacturers, have taken it a bit too far. They actually have now a tool. They have got a tool now
Measuring tool.
to measure the width of your bat. So guys, hate to tell you this, you may have spent $400 or $500 for this bat. Just for the next time.
You have a nice winter because you got firewood.
Yep, it'll just be for the day. And once again, it's going to be up to the umpires to administrate the new rule.
Well, what's going to happen is they're going to have to carry their measuring equipment with them. And if the captain of the fielding team feels as if the batsman is utilizing...
He would appeal to the umpire.
Yes.
Umpire will have to go out and measure it.
And I believe that is an offense that could be carded as well.
Yes.
Because it's an infringement of the law of the game.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but I believe that is also
I know it was talked about initially, so we could have to go back and verify that.
Right.
So that is something that's going to also take place. Now, I'll let you do the run out.
Simple. Once your bat has grounded in your crease,
Yes.
and even if the bat then comes off the ground and you are in mid-air and the stumps are broken, you are not out.
So what you've seen over the years is a batsman running to where the ball's being thrown, and he will slide the bat. Sometimes momentum of putting the bat down, maybe on an uneven surface or a bump or a hurdle, the bat will rise up as it goes across the line, and then the wickets have broken. Well, years going past, he'd be called out.
Yes.
Because when
The
the wickets
bat's
were
in the
broken,
air.
the bat was in the air. Now they're saying once that bat is
Grounded across the line,
automatically it's safe.
safe. Yeah.
Nothing else after
Because
that
they
matters.
realize that there is uneven surfaces. There is, when you're
In a
diving,
foothold, a lot of times it's where the bullets are bullets. So you'll have footholds,
right,
you have
the bat could come out of your hand on contact
Yes.
with the ground.
Yes.
So many different variables. So they're saying that once the bat is clearly grounded in the crease, then the batsman is declared not out, even if the stumps are broken, and even clearly if the batsman is in midair after that. Because when you're running, at some point in time, both feet off the ground.
Yeah.
So there's been incidents where the batsman grounds the bat, still in full speed, the bat would hit something, hit the turf, and fly up in his hand. So now every part of his body is off the ground. Well, he might be past the line himself, but every part of his body is off the ground, and the stumps, and he's been given out. They've changed it.
Now I will say, I don't think that's going to affect us that much here because a lot of that will come into play with the instant replay.
Right.
A lot of those decisions you see via
You will
instant
see
replay,
the
because
decision
to the naked eye,
Yeah.
it's very hard to
Yes,
pick that up.
yes.
But with instant replay, where you can go frame by frame, you can actually, that's where a lot of these have come from. So
Yeah.
for the local side of it, it's not going to be much.
Yeah.
It's not going to be too much of us to worry about when it comes to that. But for the international side of it, with the instant replay, that's when you can see probably a lot of those
Sure,
decisions
without a
being
doubt.
overturned.
Without a doubt. On to Delray Rollins and Sussex. He's
Yes.
playing his final game for the first team before heading over to Australia for 5 months. Sussex scored 565. Delray got 55. Unfortunately, out early the second morning. Nottinghamshire needs a draw. Just a draw, and
Yeah.
they can get promoted.
They get promoted.
They avoided the follow-on. Today's the last day for the match.
A draw's coming.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely that they will lose the match. Although they're behind by 89 runs going into the final day, it would need a miracle from Sussex to bat one session, put up maybe 350 runs, and then try to build them out in 2 sessions. But the weather hasn't been playing fairly for a positive result for Sussex, but for Nottinghamshire, I think they would go into today feeling very good about themselves and their position, and getting promoted to the first division.
Yeah, just look at the match itself. I think it was tailored two stories. Both teams rebound.
Middle order.
Yeah, we look at Delray. Delray coming in, they were 107 for 5, I believe. And then with basically 118, 120 run partnership, basically got them to a standing
230 for the night.
And then they carried over.
147 for one and 147 for another.
Yeah.
You know, that and gets them to 565.
Yeah.
If you look at it, Nottinghamshire with the same problem. They were 108 for 5.
Yeah.
And then a 300 or 290 something run partnership saw them to 314. You know, so you start looking at that, and then they had another big partnership, and the last wicket was 80 something runs.
Yeah.
You know, taking them to 479 or 478.
But highlighting Delray with once again, the first team. We're not talking about
the seconds.
the seconds.
We're not talking about the county team.
counties.
We're talking about the Sussex first team, first class.
First team. Coming in the middle order, solidifying the order, 55 runs when they really needed somebody to bet, and against some good opposition.
Oh yeah.
But also bowling. Even though he didn't take a wicket,
His economic rate was
Was the best.
3.21. Yeah, the best.
out of all the, and mostly everybody else was 5 plus.
Yes. Yeah.
He built 21
21.
overs for like 72 runs.
72. Yeah.
Or made it.
Yeah. Yeah. Economic rate for a left arm spinner, you can't ask for anything better. The Sussex coaching staff would be excited to see his numbers for the first 3 days, only because he just had a birthday the other day. Happy belated birthday!
Happy belated, babe.
You know, and England are looking as well, and that's why he's going to South Africa. I mean, Australia for this 5 months, because he's going to be continuing on that progress and that process.
And that's what I'm so excited about. That's what I'm so excited about. He had a great season this year. I mean, we thought hopefully he'll get into the seconds. That was
He solidified that after a couple of games.
First game. But going into the season, we hoped he'd get into the seconds. Wow. I'm just that curious and anxious now to see what happens when he comes back from Australia.
Well, we'll be keeping tabs on it in Australia, that's for sure. I spoke to him last week after he signed the contract. He was really pumped about the fact that he's getting this opportunity to further his development. He thanks Sussex. He thanks everyone that's helped him along the way, but this is still a process that he's going through.
Yeah.
So as interested as you are of when he gets back in England, I'm just as interested to see how he hits the ground running in Australia.
And we talk about Australia because Australia is a little different. We talk about, see, when you play locally, you basically end up learning how to play around every field. Every field will have the certain nooks, crevices, the weather, the wickets, the whole nine. And now he's been in England and he's been around the country now, so he knows how it plays up in Manchester, he knows how it plays in Hull.
Oh yeah.
Many miles away, but he knows all the cracks and crevices,
Right.
the short boundaries.
He can come back and be a weatherman too, because I'm pretty sure he'll look at the clouds and say, okay, I know what's coming,
Exactly.
I know what's going, I know.
Exactly.
As a professional, that's all part of your arm.
Now, he can go down to, and in England, ball swings around a good bit, but when he goes Australia, those wickets are a lot quicker.
And bouncy.
Quicker.
Yes.
So, and you see some of these players even good when he went over to
India.
He got to really, and I think that was actually probably really helped this season, because batting to some quality spin on some slow wickets who were turning, and if you're looking at some of England's wickets, I hate to say this, Earl, because we're seeing this happen with the West Indies wickets, they're starting to slow up and give a lot more turn, and especially with the likes of Lords.
Yes.
You don't really see that nip bumps no more. Those days are almost gone.
Well, they're knitting the grass a lot there now because their seasons are so long.
Yeah.
And the weather's changing a lot faster, so they needed to put some more tie in the grounds, and that's why you'll see it getting slower, but the turn is coming because the grass is to make sure it's standing up now. So it's actually helping. It helps the groundsman, not so much the cricket, but it helps the groundsman to make sure that he can prepare for 5 days and not have a problem like we would have in Bermuda. We had to go more than 2 days, or where we go more than 1 day. But it's just learning what needs to be done for the professional game as a groundsman and for the player. You have to adjust to whatever situation you find yourself in.
And we talked about it with him also stepping up with the under-19s. Basically, that's where this is really going to bode well for him, because it's not when he comes back and play for Sussex. Sussex will still be playing in England.
Right.
So to get used to all these different climates, that doesn't really help you there.
Right.
It's when he goes play for the under-19s, when he has to travel around the world to all these different. It's going to be South Africa. It's going to be the West Indies. It's going to be Australia. It's going to be India. It's going to be Pakistan. It's going to be Bangladesh. The Islandstats team that we're talking about. All these different conditions. He's going to have to learn.
Right. Yeah. Without a
And
doubt.
the more you have success with each and every format, it's how long you stay in the team.
That's right. That's what it's going to be.
Good luck.
Good luck, Delray Rollins.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you'll get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, it is football time. Heard the birds? They're chirping for you. They're chirping for you, brother.
Thanks a lot, dear buddy.
Letting you know. Good luck, Jay. Good luck, Jay.
I need luck.
Yeah, okay. Well, this weekend will be the second weekend of Bermuda Football Association First Division and Premier Division action. Last week ended 7-7 between Juggler and I on the picks. So this week, we're going to start off with the Premier Division.
Sure.
And on Saturday night, it is the North Village Rams and Flanagan's Onions
Easy
at
Village.
BAA Field. He cut me off, so...
That might be ugly. This game might be ugly.
If you're going by the fact that PHC defeated Flanagan's 9-0,
Yeah, that is what I'm going by.
okay. Well, that's both of us taking the North Village Rams.
Yeah, that is.
It is my hope that the Onions bounce back.
Yeah. I'll pick them. Pick.
I
You
said
can see that face
I
just
said it's
now.
my hope. and just try to build a season out of you
You're
know.
talking like that coach. You're not that coach. Pick your team.
No, but seriously, I mean,
Talking like that coach. Yeah, guys, we're going to come together and try harder.
it's only one game, but
Yeah, 9.
yes, right?
I'll tell you that.
It's only 3 points, though.
Still 9.
Yeah, but it's only 3 points. You can lose 15.
You
and
don't
it's only
forget
3
9.
points. No, you don't. And you try to build from it. So now, if they take 9 on Saturday night, we have a problem.
There could be some players still traumatized
Yeah.
from 9.
Same field.
Scene of the crime. Yellow tape's probably still up.
They gotta walk around the markings in the
Good mark.
North Village, do not touch this area right here. This is out of bounds.
Oh, mercy.
Well, then on Sunday, we'll stay with the Premier Division. On Sunday, it's going to be the Somerset Trojans at home to the Boulevard Blazers.
Woo! Draw. I remember Somerset last week. I thought they would come off they haven't won a game yet this year. And I think it's going to end up in a draw.
I'm taking the Boulevard Blazers. And I'll explain to you why. Somerset played 3 games. They haven't scored a goal.
But
2 Dudley Eve and a league game.
Right.
Yeah. And
what's that do?
yeah, well, I can't. I mean, unless
That do. They
Unless
have
I'm-
players to put the ball in the back of the net.
okay, all right.
Even accidentally.
Yeah, it could be the wrong girl.
Hold on. This might make playing for him this year?
Who's that?
Malachi.
Yeah, he played Sunday.
All right, so Malachi. You got one for me, bro.
Yeah, well, he had one for Social Club the other day,
Well,
but
he's still playing cricket the day before.
oh no, he played cricket that morning.
See what I'm saying? See, he's tired. Next to you.
Blazers will score more goals than Somerset. Okay. Crossroads are at home to Robin Hood. I'll go first.
Yeah, because I know what my answer is.
I'm going to take Robin Hood to the defending league champions. And you?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
You said it.
Okay. Good luck to Crossroads.
You gotta show me something first to beat the champions. Gotta show me something first.
Interesting matchup. The PHC Zebras are home to the Dandy Town Hornets.
Well, I tell you, at one point in time, Zebras had a hard time getting over the Danny Town Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
He said the home?
Yes, the Zebras are home.
It sounds like everything's been worked out, hopefully, between the coach and captain at PAC, obviously being brought off after 20 minutes. But PAC was also able to go on and score 8 goals after that. So, but I still going back to Dandy Town with a young goalkeeper, and I think Trey Gibbons is off island. So it'd be interesting if he's back by then, but I believe he's off island. So my pick obviously is for the Zebras due to a young goalkeeper at Dandy Town.
Well, I picked PHC only because I think Dandy Town need another game to get their legs under
That too.
for
That too.
The Premiership. So,
That too.
final game in the Premier Division for the weekend is Social Club are home to Devonshire Cougars.
And their home now is
Police
at
Field.
Police Field.
Mm-hmm.
So neighboring fields. Ole, ole, all day.
Okay, so both of us have taken the Devonshire Cougars. So the only difference we have is the Somerset Trojans Boulevard match. Okay?
For the second week in a row.
Yeah. Over to the First Division. Saturday night,
This rig is interesting.
BAA are at home to Hamilton Parish.
Easy, BA.
Yes.
Hamilton Parish is woo. Question. Earl Basin.
Hopefully answer.
When was the last time the hot peppers were hot?
Depends on which hot you're talking about. Because it could have been some.
And I'm not talking about shots.
Oh, well, they weren't having shots. They would have had shots at girls, shots in the bar, shots everywhere. We'll leave that one right there. Okay.
I actually said that for somebody who's watching. So
Okay, all right.
I guarantee to get a call.
Well, the St. George's Colts are home to Island Rangers.
Yeah, go figure.
You taking Island Rangers?
I'm done some dumb things in my life. Not today.
Southampton Rangers will entertain St. David's.
Woo!
St. David's coming off a 3-0 win over Somerset Eagles, and Southampton Rangers coming off a 2-2 draw with Devonshire Colts.
You know what? This is hard for me right now because I picked against St. David's last week and lost. Rangers, I feel they've had some good bit of inclusions. I think they might need a little time. St. David's are obviously going to go up there with confidence. So I'm going to ride the confidence level, momentum. Let's go St. David's. Close match though.
Jay is taking St. David's. I am going to take Southampton Rangers.
I could have too, but
Yeah. Somerset Eagles are at home to Paget Lions.
you know what? This will probably be the game of the week in that division. Ooh,
I'll go first.
yeah,
I'm going to take the Paget Lions.
me too. That's exactly what I was going to do. Lions.
And the final game in the First Division for the week is Devonshire Colts are at home to Wolves.
Colts.
Okay, both of us have taken. So in the First Division, we only have one change, and that is Southampton Rangers St. David's. So let's see how you. Good luck.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
You need it.
I know you're going to say that. Yeah, I know you're going to say that. Yeah. I know that. But we'll be looking out on Monday to see.
Sunday night, actually.
When I got a chance to rub it in that I won.
Now, watch him send me the wrong scores just because.
Oh no. I do that for another organization. I don't do that. But folks, tune in on Monday to find out who the winners and the losers were for the weekend and for Juggler and I.
Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
you know what I mean?
Tuesday. Yeah. Well,
I get you nervous. I understand.
What? No.
Chums.
Who?
Do they beat the champion? Still chums.
You know how it goes. You know how it goes. Well, Jay, this evening will be the start of the Bermuda Hockey Festival Classic over at the PC Hockey Rink. I'm not sure if the weather is going to cooperate, but we have teams here from Boston. Tonight's schedule lined up is Bermuda taking on Canada East. That was at 6 p.m. 7:30 sees Canada taking on the Expats. And then at 9, it's Bermuda versus Boston. Matches go on tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So hopefully this weather pushes on through and they can finish in enough time to the visitors enjoy the rest of Bermuda, which they've grown to know about. And hopefully we can show them some love and show them some appreciation here. And we're looking forward to that Masters tournament next year. This one here is a stepping stone towards that to help the organizers figure out travel time, schedule time, and all that. So they're using this as a platform for the Masters tournament next year.
Just for the organizers of this tournament, what I would like to see you guys do is have a celebrity hockey game, because I think that could bring out some of the fans to see what you guys are doing, the good stuff around the PCC. Get the a lot of Bermudian people who might follow hockey, on TV and just go out there and just look at what you guys are doing, but also invite some of the celebrities around there to play sport, and so the rest of us can have a good laugh.
You think you're funny?
Let's go to commercial.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
You come back and you're still laughing. And you're still laughing. You think that's funny?
You do a great job representing Islandstats, don't you?
Listen.
Try to keep you going. I don't want you to
see me once. It ain't enough WD-40, man.
It's too late.
I tell you before, I had a case of Bengay on order, mate. Went through that. Went down, got some WD-40. They tell me they need them for the buses.
I tried.
It is what it is. But Jay, we have representation over in Kansas with the Bermuda Bocce team.
Yes.
Started off in the doubles, now in the singles. Let's get the roundup of what's taken place thus far in the World Bocce Championships going on in Kansas City. Bermuda is being represented at the BizFed 2017 Kansas City World Bocce Open. On day 1 in the pairs, BC4, Bermuda pair Jamal Bean and Steve Wilson went down 11-0 to their opponents from Canada. They would then go down 5-1 to Argentina before going down 9-0 to Great Britain. Members of the Bermuda Bocce team continue competing in the BizFed 2017 Kansas City World Bocce Open. On day 2 in the pairs, BC4 Bermuda pair Jamal Bean and Steve Wilson went down to Durban Sealy and Ulysses Grisales from Colombia 8-0. All 4 Bermuda players saw action as the BizFed 2017 Kansas City World Bocce Open moved into the individual stage. Playing in the BC4 Division Pool A, Steve Wilson was defeated by Davor Komar from Croatia 8-2. Jamal Bean, playing in the BC4 Pool C Division, went down 5-1 to Canada's Alison Levine. Omar Haywood won his opening BC1 Pool B Division matchup, defeating Edu Ventura from Mexico 7-2. Yushei De Silva Andrade won her Pool C BC2 Division match 4-1 over Shun Sato from Japan. Wilson would go down in his second match of the day, falling 4-3 to Mashala Bakova from Slovakia. Bean would also go down in his second game of the day, falling 7-2 to Kentaro Fuji from Japan. Hayward fell in his second match of the day, 11-2 to Thomas Carl from Slovakia. Let me ask you this question. What time's your show on Saturday night, and where is it to?
Saturday night, I will be at Southampton Princess Hotel.
Oh, it's a comedy show.
No.
Comedy show.
Happy birthday, Donna, on her 50th birthday. Donna Douglas, she works in the tourism office up in New York, so I'll be down there. So if you want to come down and say a few jokes, I'll be there with you. But
let me tell you a little
I've got
secret.
3 mics with you.
Let me tell you a little secret. Donna's my first cousin.
I knew that too. So you'll be there. Special entertainment, Donna.
No entertainment. No entertainment. But from us here at the Digicel Sports Show, we want to end on a positive note. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday on the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. Good night, Jay.
Night, Earl.